This is just AMZN for Monday, September 13th, 2021. Zoomed in here on the 5 minute and just a couple of things I noticed looking at how Amazon was moving today. We had a little bit of, there we go, now it's drawing, a double top shape here, another one here. Neither of these really had a good like retest, and another point that it poked back up above the limits here. Same with on the oversold side. So on the overbought side, we didn't. On the oversold side, we didn't. Not until later in the day. And so this was looking more like getting ready to reverse, but it was really not clean. So you had this shape happen, then this, but when this dip came in, it was on that candle. And I don't really recommend getting in on a very strong candle like that that's taking out lows, because it probably will continue. So if you waited that out, well, then this becomes another one, but it doesn't get back above. It just keeps on trailing off with, again, more strong candles. So this started to flatten out a little bit. It's like, okay, could we put in some sort of reversal here? Because now we're getting this shape again. And sure enough, we we take it out again with this candle, with this really strong hammer, which turned out to be the right place to be getting in. But it's like, why would you wait after one, two, like after the initial? So, if you say, okay, after this, I should get in on this one. Well, don't get in on that candle. And then, okay, if you ignore that and say, okay, well, maybe then this is the double bottom, I should get in on the next dip. And that dip was that this candle? I guess that was that candle. So that's a little more promising, but this is still just a flag from this starting to break down, and then it breaks down again. So once it rests a little more, got a little more sideways, this is where I was looking at, okay, could we reverse here? Could we get at least a run into the 21, maybe a little bit further into like this resistance or an old support over here? Not even a support, just a pivot. Could we at least get some sort of rally? And it did end up bouncing here, and then the RSI took off and got us past the 21, which was great. But it didn't just run. It didn't just keep going. It really just kind of continued sideways. But it really, it held this level as a really good kind of resistance. So we'll see if we have anything else play out tomorrow. We had a really good gap there. We had a really nice flag here. We put another nearly shaved top candle, put a really good stair step, gap down with another gap here. So just some really good selling off signals. And then we got in a really nice reversal candle, this hammer at, way down here, like there wasn't anything else we traded there. So if you're looking for that kind of a reversal for it to bounce a little bit, that's where it came in. Excuse me. But on the bearish side earlier in the day, so we gapped up, we immediately took out the low of the opening candle, had a hammer come in here, could not get a close above that candle. So that's one thing you do is wait for a close and see if we can get some bullishness coming in. Or this could really be a really good bracket where you could get in going bearish here as it's breaking down or after a close there. So I guess you're getting in on that candle. That leaves you a little bit of room for it to run. So you're going to just need to scalp that kind of thing, or wait for it to come back into this level. This would be a really good candle to get in on, where it's coming back into that breakdown, into that closing price. It does have this RSI shape going on here, and it has a little more confidence of it rolling over from the 21. The other thing you can do to wait a little longer and just be more patient is see that this is really consolidating through here, whether you draw this with some lower highs, higher lows, compressing, does start to rally. Looks like it's going to break out. You get a really good stair step there. Nope, comes right back down. Well, that's just a retest of this kind of a triangle shape. Starts to bounce, we're right back into this resistance. We're still below this earlier price, the initial open low that we took out pretty quickly. And then because we're getting this RSI going on, This is a really good double top shaping up, just like the RSI is a double top. So if we take a step back and look at what's going on here with the options, we'll see some confluence happening. So I'm going to jump back out. If it'll let me, there we go. So on the call, we're seeing something similar. Right through here, we've almost poked above the RSI overbought. This peak, we are doing it, but this is the retest. It's way over here at 1210. And we didn't really get that kind of retest over here. And then on the call, I'm sorry, on the put side, the 3400 put, it does have this dip down over here. So we get the double bottom shape, but then we don't really do a retest either. Even if we had gotten in on this candle on, let's see, did it actually dip down? It technically did make a lower RSI value, right? Or am I reading the wrong number? No, I'm reading the wrong number. Okay, this was 32.35. This was 32.49. So it actually made a slightly higher number. So it isn't really dipping. It just looks like another kind of almost flat right here. So it's this number. I was looking at this number, the Y number. It's this number that we want to look at right here. But if we take a look at an option a little further away, we get a much better shape. So if we first look at the 33.75 put, we'll see there's very little volume and it's really spotty. So let's go out a little further to the 33.50, decent volume, not as much as the 3400, just a nice rounder number. And let me zoom back in. There we go. So we do have some spots in here, some individual tick handles, but the range in these candles is much better. You don't have such a huge explosion from the gap up and then just losing all this premium on the call side that I don't even have on the screen, and the put just racing higher. It's a little more muted, and so it's just because it's a little further away. But it also means that like this candle, this hammer here, this hammer-ish candle here, that actually is a really good place to be buying off of later. So that's the same price in here. And when we're getting this, we actually do get the double bottom. I'm going to zoom in on this. So we get the double bottom shape, and then we get the retest of it. And this is where to buy. So this candle, buying at the close of this candle, so right at, let's call it 581, and it's in the range of this hammer, which is less than $1 risk. And you can be getting in for a really good price, even if you got in at 6. I mean, you had a good amount of time after this candle. Like if you didn't see it, if you're alert, like you can set alerts on these options. I mainly have my alerts set on Amazon itself. When it dips below here, every time it dips below here. And so I just have to look at the chart when that's happening. But if you have an eye on a certain option, you can set it up to do the same thing and tell it to alert. But you had, after the close of this candle, you had 1, 2, 3 more candles, which spans, I was just checking, spans about 15 minutes, that you still had an opportunity to get in under 6. And then getting in here and looking for it being a Monday, looking for 3R that we've been getting it in at 6, stop down at 5, and letting it run up to 9. It did take a while, but it did get up there, and 9 was the previous high on the day on the option. So that was a really comfortable setup, and probably one you could have actually done with more contracts. And instead of doing 6 by 5, maybe you're getting in right here at 581, or here you get in on this candle at 575, and you've got a tighter stop. You could do a stop at 525. It just depends on how the range is, how the spread is on this option. After hours here, it's about a 45-cent spread, $45 spread. I wouldn't want to have a $50 per contract stop because I figured I just get stopped out. Some fluke will happen, something will just dip down and stop me out. And I've had that happen and had slippage. So I'll give it some more room. But that's one way to play this. And then you're only actually looking for 750 as a target, which is a better target. But you could still let it ride. It just depends on what your rules are. But this was a much better setup. I'm guessing if we go out to like the 3350 call, we'll see something similar. Nope, I guess not. I was going to say maybe we'll see a double top actually get above. Not quite. Let's see if 3325 is any better. Okay, so you're getting a couple of peaks above the overbought, so that's closer. But anyway, going back to what I had originally here, this is what it looked like. Like this is how extreme the pricing was, and then it came way back down and got really much more tame. But yeah, this is just a typical kind of rollover. It looks like it's going to rally, but there's just so much bearishness, so much of a bearish edge that if you were patient, if you're waiting, if you were looking for, okay, where is the extreme that, you know, anybody would be who's going bullish would get trapped? Well, they're going to look for it to take out like the previous high over here, and it's starting to, and then it just loses all that bullish momentum and rolls back down. So this was a really good, just a really good S curve shape to be getting in bearish over in here, and really to look for whether you did it with the 3350 put, or we'll go back to the 3400 put expiring this week. There were some really good opportunities to get into this and just, you know, hold on to that, let it ride into the high of the day. This price over here, even though we were taking it out, that was a good place to get out. So if you were getting in on some of these candles, and some of these were actually less than $1 risk, I'm sorry, less than $1 range, which would help you to get in with $1 risk, but didn't quite get timed out right with the RSI. So these were, you know, these were other places that you really could be getting into this as it's starting to roll down, like on this candle. If you're getting in after this candle is 63-cent range. So getting in, I guess this would have to be like 1150 by 1050. And then we didn't come back down to that price again. 1045 was here. So you're putting, you get that risk a little bit tight if you're getting in with a stop at 1050. But I mean, even after this candle, the low of this candle was 1170. This candle was really nice and small, a nice kind of resting candle here. This is the candle that really, once we took this out, it's like, okay, we should keep going. You know, this one was the last place that it should bounce, just like this one did. And I keep doing this where I'm seeing it fine, but okay. This candle, we should have bounced here. We should, I mean, just like this one, we bounced, we, you know, had a gap up, immediately closed that gap. And now this is turning into like a double top here. This candle should have bounced if we were going to go bullish. And because it broke down, that's a great place to be, you know, taking that trade, getting bearish. Or another place was right here with a retest into the 21. So that's right at 1 o'clock. Let's see what the put was doing there. I was putting in a low over here. So this option's a little pricey. So it's the low here is 1270. So not quite sure where you would have a stop for getting in there. If you got in like 13 by 12, you're relying on this candle to hold. So that'd be this one, which it does. It's just, there's, I mean, it's pretty easy to take that out and even retest this this hammer candle here. This had a low of 1166. So just a little harder if you're getting in later, but this had a more speedier move where it did actually bounce nicely there, rolling over from the 21. So yeah, that's some of my thoughts on bearish trades and bullish trades here. So hope this helps. This is Justin AMZN. Thanks.